Okay, I think we're ready to start playing. There's lots of bets on the table and we're going to talk about them one at a time. First, let's talk about the pass bet, which is a bet that probably 90% of the players make. And the reason craps is such a popular game is that the table is generally winning and losing at the same time. So when the pass bet wins, chances are almost everyone at the table is winning, you're happy at the same time, and that excitement feeds on itself and it makes the game that much more fun. Get your bet ready and put it right here on the pass line. Now the first roll is called a come out roll. That, on a come out roll, a 7 or 11 is going to win, a 2, 3, or 12 is going to lose, and anything else will establish what's called a point. And we'll talk about a point when we get to it. Dan, please give Angela the dice and don't short stick her.
I don't do that. I'm a gentleman. Here we go. Take 2 dice with one hand. Yo 11, pay the line.
The reason he said yo when an 11 was rolled is because 7 and 11 rhyme. So lest there be any misunderstanding, before he says 11, he says yo as to clarify this is an 11.
And on the come out roll, when the puck is off, you win on a 11 or a 7, a yo or a 7. And the money's placed next to your pass line bet. And what you do is you pick up the chip and you put it in your rack.
So now we're ready for another come out roll.
8, the Hardway, mark the 8.
The point is now an 8, and Dan is going to put this chip here on the 8. Now it's no longer a come out roll. What you want to do now is roll an 8 and not roll a 7. And you're going to keep throwing the dice no matter how long it takes until you either get a 7 or an 8. Now at this point of the game, 7s become bad. On the come out roll they're good, but now they become bad. We're ready to roll again and try to get an 8.
5, no field 5.
So nothing happens on the 5, and Dan is going to give you the dice again.
7 out, line away.
7 out, you lost.
And the dealer takes the pass line bet and he brings it into the house money.
Make a new pass line bet. It is another come out roll.
And on the come out roll, after a 7 out, you are given 5 dice. If you had made the previous 8 and you were going to try for a new number, you would keep the same 2 dice because they're lucky because they just won. 2 dice, one hand.
Again, we want a 7 or 11, and a 2, 3, or 12 will lose.
9 center.
Okay, so Dan is going to mark the 9 with that puck. So now you're going to try to roll a 9 before a 7. And let me use this opportunity to explain another bet. Craps is the only table game in the casino that has a bet with no house advantage. And in this, it's called the odds. And you can make this after a point is established. You put the bet right here behind the pass line bet in this area. What this is it's an additional wager that a 9 will be rolled before a 7. And mathematically speaking, the 7 is more likely to be rolled than the 9. So what they're going to do is they're going to give you, if this wins, they're going to give you more odds. In this case, the chances of rolling a 9 before a 7 are 40%. So fair odds on that would be to pay 3 to 2. They're going to allow you to bet up to 4 times this bet here. So let's take full advantage of the odds and bet $20 on the odds.
5, no field.
9. Oh,
7 out,
again.
line away. And all of this is taken up.
Okay, let's try again.
So, bet on the
Always
pass
done.
Yes,
line?
it's a new come out roll, so bet on the pass line. 7 or 11.
3, crap, line in.
We lost, so Dan's going to take our money and make a new pass line bet.
7, pay the line. That's when the 7 is good.
And you can do this as many times as you roll that 7 or 11? There's no
Yes,
limit on this?
yes, and if the table had multiple players, you're going to keep throwing the dice until you 7 out, which means that there was a point established and then you roll the 7. So it's still your turn.
All right.
6 easy.
Yes,
no field.
okay.
Here we go, we have a point.
Let's make an odds bet, and in the case of a 6, you're allowed to bet 5 times the pass line bet at most casinos. Now, the general rule that most casinos follow on how much you can bet on the odds is if the point is a 6 or an 8, it's 5 times, 5 or a 9, it's 4 times, and a 4 or a 10, it's 3 times. And the way you can know they do that is there will usually be a sign over there explaining how much you can bet on the odds, and it'll say 3x, 4x, 5x. Some casinos allow more, some less, but 3, 4, 5 is the norm here in Las Vegas. All right, try to roll a 6.
Dice are out, shooter's looking for the 6. 4 easy, pay the field. 3 crap, come away.
So again, nothing happens until it's a 6 or a 7.
10 the hard way.
What does the hard way mean?
The hard way means that you rolled 2 of the same number. For example, you rolled 2 5s. There are only 2 ways you can roll a 10, a 5 and a 5 or a 4 and a 6. Mathematically speaking, it's easier to roll a 4 and a 6 than 2 5s. In fact, it's twice as easy to roll a 10 with a 4 and a 6. So because you rolled it the way that's less likely, they called it the hard way, because it's harder to roll a 10 that way.
6 easy.
Yay, you won!
Pay the line. The dealer pays the odds first and the pass line.
Notice how your $25 bet here paid $30. With odds bets, it's going to pay 6 to 5 on a point of a 6 or 8, 3 to 2 on a point of 5 or 9, and 2 to 1 on a 4 to 10. Those are all mathematically fair odds with no house advantage. We're ready for a new come out roll.
Just the pass line.
Yes, we start with just the pass line, and this time I'm going to explain come bets after the point is established.
Dice are out. 6 easy, mark the 6.
Okay, so the point is 6. Dan is going to put that puck on the 6 so we can remember what the point is. So you can back that up with $25 on the odds. The last time, it took a while for you to roll a 6 or a 7. So there are lots of bets you can make in addition to the pass line and the odds to make the game more exciting. So it doesn't take so long to resolve a bet. And a good bet you can make at this time is called the come bet. So you're going to put a bet there. And the way this works is exactly like the pass line bet, but it's made when it's not a come out roll. So on the next time you roll the dice, if it's a 7 or 11, this will win. 2, 3, or 12, it'll lose. And anything else will establish, shall we say, a different point for the purposes of this bet. So let's see what happens.
6 easy, winner, pay the line.
You won the pass line bet.
Now what happens is the come bet goes up to the point of 6 where she is.
So now you have 2 bets on the table. You've got your pass line bet for a new roll, and you've got that bet on the 6 there, which is from your previous come bet. So now on this roll, the 7 or 11 will cause this to win, but a 7 would cause that to lose.
That 7's out. The 7s are described in 2 terms. If it's a good 7, it's called a winner 7 and it pays on the pass line, but the bad 7 is called a 7 out because you're out of your money.
Well, let's roll the dice and see what happens.
7, pay the line, workers, pay the line, and this 7'd out.
So I know it's a little confusing, but this bet won because it was a come out roll, and 7 or 11s win on a come out roll. But that bet on the 6 lost because there was already a point established for the purposes of that come bet, and the 7 caused that to lose. So let's try it again, just to make sure it's clear.
5, no field, mark the 5.
All right, so make your odds bet on the 5, which would be $20. And let's make a $5 come bet.
Five, winner, pay the
Another
line.
winner. Dan paid you 3 to 2 odds on the 5 on the odds bet, and the pass line won even money. So take your winnings, and New come out roll.
8 easy, mark the 8.
So I would recommend making an odds bet on the 8, which would be $25, because it's 5 times the pass line bet on 6 or 8, and a come bet. No roll.
Short roll, no roll.
If the dice don't hit the other side of the table, then the dealer will generally say no roll and it won't count.
Right. No call, no roll. 2 crap aces come away.
So the come bet is going to lose, so let's make a new come bet.
6 easy.
Now you've established a point of 6 for purposes of that come bet, and much like the pass line bet, you can back that up with odds too. So take out $25 for the odds bet on that, and she would put this in the come area and she would say odds on the 6, right?
Right.
Because you're not allowed to make that bet yourself. Let's make another come bet. You can make as many as you want.
So you'll win on an 8 or a 6.
Yes, exactly. An 8 will cause the pass line bet to win, a 6 will cause that come bet to win.
Now this is an interesting situation. She's got a point of 6 and a new come bet. What happens if she rolls a 6? She both wins and then goes back up to the 6, and they call that off and on. What would happen is this bet would win when she has an equal come bet waiting to come up, so we would pay 35 right here and say off and on. This 25 would win 30 and the flat bet would win 5, and $35 will be placed next to your come bet, and you'll pick up 35 bucks if you can roll a 6.
My head is spinning. Let's see what happens.
Oh, hopefully we roll a 6 and clear that up.
6 the hard way. All right, so what happens is the dealer cuts out $35. There's 35. Stacks it up next to your come bet and says off and on.
Just so that I understand it, she won $35 on that come bet and the odds, and you are assuming that, so the last come bet is becoming a new, shall we say, a new bet, and you're assuming she wants to bet that up, back that up with the odds, so you're basically only paying her the winnings and
Right.
assuming that she wants to keep her odds
That is
bet.
the assumption.
And she would have to state if she wanted to do anything else.
Right. She would pick up the money, and if she can say take my odds down,
Mhm.
but she can't say take my come point of 6 down, because once it's up, it has to stay up except for the odds.
Okay, and I know all this is confusing, and I try to explain it all on my website as well. So take your winnings and let's try again.
5, no
Okay,
field 5.
so you hit another point. Dan's going to move that over to the cash register. I always like to back up my pass and come bets with the odds because there's no house advantage. So in this case, it's $20. So you would say odds on the 5.
Odds on the
And
5.
they go up.
And let's keep doing it. Let's make another come bet.
Eight, winner easy.
8, you won the pass line bet.
And the puck is off, and this goes up to 8. Now, what happens if she rolls a come out 7?
If she rolls a 7 on the come out roll, her come bets are going to lose, but those odds bets on the 5 and the 6 will push. There is a rule in craps that any odds bets on a come out roll are turned off. They're not active. If she were to roll a 5 or a 6, she would not win on those odds bets either.
She'd win on her flat bet.
Yes, she wins on the flat bet. The rule in craps on come out rolls is that the odds on come bets, place bets, and buy bets are automatically turned off because 7s are supposed to be good on a come out roll. And you are allowed to turn those bets on and off at any time that you want, but they just assume that the player is going to want them off on a come out roll. And she has the prerogative to say no, leave them on, but most players do not invoke that right.
Right.
So collect your winnings and the odds too.
No action on the odds.
A 5, 6 would cause those two to win. I think the 11 would be the best. Okay, let's see what happens.
See what we can do.
9 center, mark the 9.
Okay, you hit another point. So first, let's back up the pass line bet with $20 in odds. And we want to make an odds bet on the 8, which we rolled before. So let's bet $25 for the odds on your previous come bet.
Odds on 8.
And let's make a new come bet.
Eight, easy.
We just want a come bet.
She wins 35.
Right, so your odds bet on the 8 wins 30 because 20 pays 3 to 2, which is 30. And the come bet itself pays even money, so 5 for that. So a total of 35 in winnings, as has happened last time. He's going to assume that you want to keep the odds bet on the new come bet that was placed on the 8. So collect your winnings, and we're making a new come bet.
9 center.
All right,
Pay the
you won
line.
the pass line.
She's got 4 come bets or 4 come points up. And let's see what happens.
Okay, so yeah, pick up the odds bet too, because it's a come out roll.
8. Yes.
4 easy. Mark the
We have
4.
now 5 numbers covered. Okay, so first let's make our odds bet on the pass line, which is 15, and we also want to make an odds bet on the 9, so that is going to be 20.
Odds on 9.
And let's make a new come bet. So now, we've got lots of numbers covered at the table. A 4, 5, 6, 8, or 9 are going to cause one of our bets to win. However, if we roll a 7, everything's going to lose. So now it's really important to stay away from the 7.
Oh, no pressure. Alright, let's see what we got.
8 easy.
8! Our 8 bet wins. So that 25 on the odds is going to pay 30. The 5 on the come bet itself will pay 5. So that's going to be a total of 35. And again, Dan's going to assume we want to keep those odds up, and we're making a new come bet.
7 out. On the way. However, she does win somewhere.
On the last come bet. So at least you won one bet.
Collect them both?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a new come out roll, and let's use this opportunity to talk about a new bet. Let's talk about the don't pass bet.